Harry's Wife. A Less Than Raw Narcissist, Part 45.1. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. In this video, and this particular part and its sections, I'm going to explain a further aspect of the narcissistic dynamic to aid your understanding and, by utilisation, of a prime example of the prominent figure of Harry's wife. When we ascertain that an individual is a narcissist, one has to look at a pattern of pervasive behaviour over a period of time. A one-off event is not sufficient. Commonly, people contact me and they ask, HG, my boyfriend does this. Does this mean he's a narcissist? The simple answer is no. The behaviour is an indicator. It is not determinative on its own. One has to look at a pervasive pattern of sustained behaviours over a period of time to make the appropriate analysis. Take, for example, you go into your corner shop, and there you find a lady who's shouting and swearing, and she's trying to grab money out of the till. She's being abusive towards the person, the shop assistant, and she's throwing produce around. Who is this person? Narcissist? Nutcase? Individual who's having a bad day? Self-entitled arsehole? Where might the determination lie? Of course, based on that behaviour, we can't make a determination alone. You might be observing a narcissist who's behaving in an entitled fashion, showing no accountability for the behaviour, showing an absence of emotional empathy, evidencing asset appropriation by trying to take the money, by showing a lack of boundary recognition, and by the utilisation of crude manipulations such as insult, threat, physical violence, damage to property as a means to assert control over the shopkeeper and anybody else who's in the store. Alternatively, we might be witnessing a lady who has just lost her job, whose son is very unwell, whose partner is unable to work, that has a mountain of debts, and is at the end of her tether. And as a consequence of these external stressors, her emotional empathy has been reduced, bringing to the fore her narcissistic traits, so she effectively goes into meltdown, exhibiting argumentative and selfish behaviours. We would need more information about this lady and her pattern of behaviour. And I explain all of that to you in order to help you understand the method by which determination has to be made, and also that where something happens once or twice, one can't read anything into that, but where we see this pattern of sustained behaviours, that starts to give a greater indication based upon the evidence of what this particular individual is. And of course, I analysed a raft of behaviours of Harry's wife from private and public sources before making that determination, and thereafter I have then analysed ongoing behaviours through this prism of narcissism to aid your understanding. In this part, we're going to look at the issue of upstaging. How does Harry's wife do it? But also, why does she do it? And also to aid you with regard to your understanding vis-à-vis narcissism. In order to do this, I am, as ever, going to utilise certain reportage with regard to Harry's wife and the individuals that she has behaved with. As always, the veracity of this information I leave for you to judge. I am merely providing you with the interpretation of the behaviours on the basis the information is presented as correct. But, as stated, I leave it for you, as educated listeners, to ascertain the veracity. First of all, we turn to the Super Soaraway Sun, and an article from last year by somebody called Fabulous Reporter. What an extraordinary name. Hi, I'm Fabulous. Now, perhaps I should change my name, actually. The Fabulous H.G. Tudor. Has quite a ring to it, doesn't it? Anyway, leaving that to one side, the article states, remember this is back in January 2020, but it is pertinent as you'll go on to understand. The article states, she may have left the country for a quieter life in Canada, but Harry's wife was still accused of upstaging her sister-in-law, Kate Middleton's whistle-stop tour of the UK earlier this week. Despite the fact that they were taken over 2 weeks ago, the former Suits actress shared new photographs from her visit to the animal welfare charity Mayhew with her 11 million Instagram followers on Wednesday morning, just as Kate's royal engagements were getting underway. Now, of course, this might just be coincidence, that the information is released at the same time, and that can happen. But as you'll go on to hear, it isn't. The Sun article continues, commenting on the timing of Meghan's post. Royal expert Richard Palmer tweeted, "Wow, what unfortunate timing that, once again, just as a senior member of the royal family was heralding an important initiative, the Sussex Royal Instagram account kicked into life with some PR pictures at the very same moment." And therefore, in that instance, there has been the upstaging of the sister-in-law by Harry's wife in releasing the picture. The Sun also provides other examples of this occurring. Announcing Megxit before Kate's birthday. The article reports it was the bombshell that rocked the royal family earlier this month, and Harry and his wife's decision to step back as senior royal certainly overshadowed Kate Middleton's birthday. The night before the Duchess of Cambridge's 38th birthday, the couple announced on Instagram account that they would now be splitting their time between Canada and UK. In a statement on the 8th of January, Harry and his wife said they planned to be financially independent. Although we reserve the right, of course, to moan about our circumstances and the necessity of the provision of security, etc., and live in a multi-million-pound house with more bathrooms than you can shake a stick at, as they carved out a progressive new role within the monarchy. Royal author Phil Dampier said Kate's special day was undoubtedly ruined by Harry and his wife's bombshell. He told Fabulous Digital, apart from anything else, Harry and his wife's announcement has overshadowed Kate's 38th birthday. It's just another example of how far the so-called Fab Four have drifted apart, and I doubt that Harry and his wife will be at any celebrations for Kate. It's a sad day for the monarchy that these two brothers and their wives, who had the potential to be such a positive force, are now in this position. The shock announcement plunged the royal family into crisis mode, and while the Queen was said to be deeply upset, Prince Charles and Prince William were reportedly incandescent with rage. Hinting the shock announcement had taken its toll, the Duchess of Cambridge was pictured looking stony-faced on her birthday as she arrived back home at Kensington Palace. Trying their best to keep calm and carry on in the face of the crisis, both Charles and Camilla and the royal family's official Instagram accounts posted stunning photos of the Duchess of Cambridge for her birthday. These posts coincided with the release of a stunning new photo of the Duchess on the Kensington Royal Instagram page. However, Harry and his wife chose not to share a photo of Kate and simply commented on her post with wishing a very happy birthday to the Duchess of Cambridge today. In response to their well wishes, thousands of royal fans accused Harry and his wife of stealing Kate's birthday thunder. This overshadowing behaviour and upstaging is common with the narcissist. Quite simply, when the focus is on somebody else, it threatens our sense of control. And for an unaware narcissist, this happens in the unconscious. The narcissist must have control at all times, save when we are unconscious, namely asleep, or blitzed out of our mind after a frenetic shots and beer session. Now, when awake, the narcissist must assert control, and every time somebody comes on the narcissist radar, the narcissism acts to cause the narcissist to assert control over that individual through one of the three assertions of control. Accordingly, with Harry's wife narcissism, the fact that the Duchess of Cambridge is well-liked threatens control. The fact that the Duchess of Cambridge looks beautiful threatens Harry's wife's sense of control. The fact that it was her birthday threatened her control because the day would be about Kate, the day would be about people wishing her well. And narcissists, we cannot stand that because it's about somebody else, which threatens our control. Of course, the unaware narcissist does not realise this is what is going on. And of course, just will say, Oh no, I just put that out because that's what I had been doing. And of course, as you will go on to hear, there are so many instances of this happening that even if you were to sit the narcissist down and say, look, here's a pattern of repeated behaviour where you keep overshadowing and upstaging everybody else, you're doing this on purpose to cause problems. Remember, the unaware narcissist isn't going to sit there and go, of course I am, you've caught me, bang to rights, this is fucking hilarious. No, they will be genuinely mystified. No, they will protest in all innocence. I haven't. It's the PR company puts it out. I didn't tell them when to do it, or no, it's just a coincidence that it's come out at the same time. But of course, as is always the case, the actual behaviours demonstrate what's really going on, and what is spoken is completely at odds with that. Where it is a special occasion, a birthday of somebody else, the narcissist will either look to ruin it, thus diminishing the enjoyment of that individual and shifting focus back onto the narcissist, or look to steal the thunder in some way, overshadow and upstage by turning attention onto themselves. And in this instance, Harry's wife has done so by the issuing through an Instagram account of a particular announcement in order to upstage the Duchess of Cambridge. And it's purely done as a consequence of the necessity of the assertion of control to nullify the perceived threat to control posed by the impending birthday of the Duchess of Cambridge. And it was also done with regard to the fact of ensuring that pictures are posted prior to anybody else's important announcements to detract from that person's announcement and to bring attention back onto Harry's wife. On another occasion, this occurred when there was the emotional ITV interview after Kate's royal tour. When Harry and his wife damaging ITV documentary aired last October 2019, as reported on in earlier parts of A Less Than Royal Narcissist, it couldn't have been worse timing for Kate and William, who had just returned from a royal tour of Pakistan, reports The Sun, and grabbed headlines for all the right reasons. October 29 was the first time that Harry's wife hinted that she was unhappy with her life as a royal after claiming that she and Harry were existing, not living. Pity play through assertion of control. Harry's wife, rather, was close to tears as she described herself as having felt vulnerable while speaking about being a new mum. Pity play, assertion of control. Harry's wife revealed her new royal life has been a struggle and added, not many people have asked if I'm okay. Pity play, self-obsessed behaviour. But it's a very real thing to be going through behind the scenes. ITV journalist Tom Bradby then asked her, and the answer is, would it be fair to say not really okay, as it's really been a struggle? At this point, Harry's wife looked visibly upset and replied, yes. Crocodile tears. Pity play, assertion of control. Despite the fact that Harry and his wife embarked on their 10-day Africa tour on 23rd of September 2019, the documentary didn't air until the following month and completely stole attention away from Kate and William's trip to Pakistan. According to the Evening Standard's Robert Jobson, the decision to release teaser clips whilst Kate and William were on a 4-day tour in Pakistan had baffled and infuriated aides. One senior figure told the newspaper, this move has certainly overshadowed the Pakistan visit and what has been achieved here during the last few days, as well as a lot of work by an awful lot of dedicated people here on the ground as well back home for months. So once again, the work that's done to obtain publicity with regard to the tour that's undertaken by Kate and William becomes overshadowed by Harry's wife causing the interview and teaser trailer clips to be issued and evidencing the whole pathetic pity play that has been reported upon previously. Next instance, Harry's wife cuddles Beyoncé as the Duchess of Cambridge presents the Wimbledon trophy. Kate Middleton is a proud patron, reports The Sun, of the All England Club and presents the winner of the Wimbledon Tennis Championship with their trophy every year. But while it's one of the few days of the year where all eyes are on the Duchess, last year Harry's wife stole the spotlight when she walked the red carpet for the Lion King premiere in London's Leicester Square. Harry and his wife arrived holding hands shortly after Kate had presented Djokovic with his trophy. And while Kate's Instagram post documenting her day at Wimbledon received 670,000 likes, Harry and his wife's red carpet photos got over double this. In total, their post was liked by over 1.3 million fans. Though, wonder how many bots were involved in that. Anyway, that's a side issue. What's more, photos of Harry's wife hugging Beyoncé, who referred to the Duchess as my princess. Oh dear. Sent royal fans absolutely wild and dominated headlines. Meanwhile, Kate and William's Wimbledon appearance was long forgotten about, despite only taking place hours before. That said, her interaction with Harry's wife didn't stop Beyoncé from visibly cringing when Harry put his wife forward for voiceover work for Disney as he chatted to Lion King director Jon Favreau. Again, another instance of the upstaging and the overshadowing, which is done in order to assert control over people as a whole, and also because the Duchess of Cambridge poses a real and present threat to Harry's wife's control because of her elevated status as being the wife of the future King of England, and because there is competition with regard to looks, status, and general likability. And whilst Kate Middleton had been put through the ringer by the media in her early days, she has continued through attending to her royal work in a dignified and regal manner to win people over, and doesn't engage in repeated upstaging. Whereas, of course, the narcissist, threatened by the presence of an individual and what they do, repeatedly has to nullify the threat to control and therefore does so. A further example, as reported by The Sun, was where Harry's wife shared Harry's wildlife shots before Prince Louis's birthday. The Sun reports the first signs of the Sussex and Cambridge households clashing appeared last April, when Harry's wife and Harry were accused of stealing Prince Louis's thunder on their nephew's birthday. Keen photographer Kate happily shares stunning photos she's taken of her children on their birthdays every year. And Kate released new photos of Prince Louis for his birthday, and then hours later, like the ghost at the feast, Harry's wife and Harry posted photos of his photography. Kate Middleton shared adorable new photos on Instagram of Prince Louis for his first birthday in April 2019, and then hours later, pictures of wildlife taken by the Prince were released by Harry's wife. Royal author Phil Dampier told The Sun Online, at the time it starts to look like Harry and his wife are in competition and are out to steal Louis's thunder. Now, of course, fancy being threatened by the presence of a mere child, but that's what happens to the narcissist. Because remember, the child isn't a child, the child is an object. There's no emotional empathy for the Duchess of Cambridge as to how it feels to have her son's thunder stolen, overshadowed in such a manner. And there's no emotional empathy, of course, for their own nephew to have his birthday overshadowed in this way. Somebody commented in The Sun, it isn't like Harry and his wife didn't know it was Louis's birthday. They've known since he was born last year. And of course, yet another example of the upstaging behaviour of the narcissist. Accordingly, repeated examples there, as reported by the Sun, with regard to repeated occasions where Harry's wife, perceiving a threat to control as evidenced by the information, photos and popularity of the Duchess of Cambridge, and therefore has to respond in order to nullify the threat to control by the upstaging. And the upstaging shows a lack of boundary recognition, an absence of emotional empathy, a sense of entitlement to behave in that manner, a lack of accountability for the behaviours. It is a manipulation. It's in effect triangulating the person that is being subjected to the attempt to assert control with the provision of other information, other pictures. Once or twice could be put down to bad press management and just sheer coincidence. But there are just 5 examples of this behaviour having gone on over a course of time. And, of course, at that point, invariably, whenever the Duchess of Cambridge comes on the radar of Harry's wife, what she's doing immediately threatens Harry's wife's control. So her unconscious narcissism leaps into action and causes her to then issue some photos or issue an instruction to the PR team, get something put out there. But of course, she does not know the real reason why she's doing this. Remember, she may well realise that she is competing with Kate, but she doesn't know that she's doing this for the assertion of control. She'll know that she feels envious because the narcissism causes her to feel envy in relation to Kate, to cause Harry's wife to take action to assert control and nullify the threat posed by Kate. In the same way, when your throat is dry, you know you're thirsty, your body is making you, through a signal, go and drink some water so that you hydrate. For Harry's wife's narcissism, it causes her to think, ooh, look at Kate showing off again, and to feel envious of that, in order to galvanise Harry's wife into nullifying the threat by posting pictures and releasing information. She doesn't know she's doing it for control. She doesn't know that she's asserting control. She doesn't know that she's nullifying a threat to control. She doesn't know that she's doing it for fuel. She will recognise that she's being competitive, but may even deny that as a consequence of an accusation of that kind. The narcissism will shield her from that accusation and rewrite history. So she'll say, no, I'm not jealous, I'm not envious, I'm not competitive, and honestly mean it. But in the moment, she may well think in such terms of, I'll show her, because the narcissism allows her to think that way, to cause her to act upon it to assert control. In part 2, I'll be providing you with further demonstrations of this pattern of upstaging and explaining more about this dynamic to aid your understanding. Join me there.